We have made it to the best part. It's wardrobe time. If you recall in previous videos, I told you that I was going to show you some of my oops and blunders as I went, and I had realized that his feet were too small for his body or to carry his weight, so I had to redo them and bulk them up. There they are, much bigger and sturdier. When I am trying to create wardrobe or the look that I want for my doll to have, I create a pile. Yes, a pile. I put all the things, all the colors, and I try to see what they look like living together. Our gentleman is going to have some armor, so I thought maybe perhaps I could use these stickers that I got from the Dollar Tree on some of his armor. His snazzy dazzy hat is wet felted. I have a previous video where I show that process, so if you need to see that, I will add that video at the end of this one, and all you have to do is just click on it and you can watch it. After I do the piling thing that I told you I do, then I kind of put things here or there just to see what they look like on the doll and to see if I like it. Many moons ago, I bought several caracal fleeces. Now, this is actually the first shorn fleece of a caracal, so that's why it kind of has these variety of colors. But I love caracal, period, whether it's the adult fleece or the first shorn, and it's just wonderful. And it was kind of already felted a little bit, as you can see there, so it was perfect to add to his cloak. Adding these locks to his cloak gives it such a medieval vibe, back with the knights and the warriors and all that fun stuff. Here we're just cutting out for his tunic, and as you can see, I just cut around his body. Nothing serious, simple sewing. I even glue some parts together with some fabric type glue. I mean, yeah, we can do this. It doesn't have to be over the top to be fabulous, right? So super simple. Once again, we just measured him for his breastplate. I'm going to cut it out, and this is just regular craft foam. Nothing super expensive, no crazy materials. We'll paint it and spruce it up and it'll look great. I know for some folks really love measurements, and I'm sorry, I am not one of those types of people. I am an eyeballer. I eyeball everything. It's a kind of a part of my process. It's what makes it fun for me, because if I try to get too exact, it kind of takes away something to the process for me. I don't know. I just don't like measurements. But as you can see here, that's where the fabric glue came in. Going to pin that, hold that. But yeah, no, I eyeball lots of things. So if you are like that too, no worries. You don't have to. Just eyeball it or correct mistakes as you go. Creating a simple felted cuff for our fellow here. So many of you all have seen me make this type of cuff for my shirts, but you can use this for pants as well. You can finish the bottom of a pair of pants this way, kind of make them look a little bit different for, like, say, overalls. I have done that in the past for some of my dolls. My quality assurance inspector has showed up. Yeah. Now he ever so often he has to be nosy about some project I'm doing, but not too often. You would think like most cats they're into everything that you do, but he's not so much. But no, every once in a while he has to see what's going on. And what we're doing here is creating a simple pattern for his boots. Once again, we're keeping it simple. I'm just tracing around his foot to create this pattern. I do leave quite a bit of room on both sides or all around his foot, so that way the pattern can be adjusted if need be. And well, to allow for the foot to fit. Oh, yes, everything will be okay. I remember when I first started making things, and I thought that everything had to be so hard and I can't do that. But I'm telling you, it is a simple process. It's your process. So you do it the way that you feel comfortable with. But simple ideas and simple things can take you a long way. Nothing new here for those who have watched some of my other videos, because of course, guess what I'm doing? I'm distressing. I love to distress just about everything. So I distressed his shoes just with some simple paint, um, basically dry brushing paint on. Here, I'm adding him some socks. This is cheesecloth, by the way. Cheesecloth is one of my favorite little things to have. It gives you that perfect little ratty tatty look, you know, because I love the shabby, the old sometimes, whatever I'm creating. And also, you can dye it to create certain colors or distress it, however you want to do. But yeah, cheesecloth is nice. I like it. I always have boxes. I bet some of you do too. Yeah, I think we need a surplus of some boxes, like cereal boxes and some other types of boxes for crafting and to make things. I make books out of these. Yeah, I do all kinds of stuff with boxes. I Another thing I love, boxes. This is going to be for his shield. I'm also going to use some craft foam to put over top of it and some other things, but I needed it to be sturdy, so yes, the cardboard came in good for that. I'm distressing with some ink here. If you noticed, I put cheesecloth around his hands. That's kind of one of the things that I do a lot with my dolls, is that I will use cheesecloth kind of like as some ratty tatty gloves for my dolls. Something that is important is to try things out before you permanently attach them to your creation or anything like that. But not only that, for myself, it allows me to get more creative and maybe think of new ideas or other things I might want to add. I don't know. I think it's fun. It's one reason why I like wardrobe. Trusting the process, I had to glue down the stickers, so the paper clips are helping with that. I also had to figure out something to add around the edges of the breastplate and the shield, which I added yarn, which I think the yarn pulls it all off at the end. You'll see it. You got to trust the process, like I said. So when we get to the end of it, you'll see. The paints that I used were metallic paints. I used two different kinds. One was more of like a metal look, another was a gold look. I even added a little bit of white to kind of brighten up some spaces. And then you'll also see later where I add some dark, like right here, where, you know, there's going to be shading at, just to make it all look cohesive, old, used, battered, all that good stuff. I couldn't really decide at first if I wanted to try to make some type of clay staff. Instead, I went with the paper mache method, and I think the end results were perfect. But once again, we're using simple materials, things that are not over the top expensive. Those are my kind of things. I had already painted the staff a couple of shades darker before we got to this point right here. So that way the texture parts would pop out more. I didn't want to add a jewel or a stone, so I thought the moss would add a little extra color to it. Make it a little special, something different. And of course, I added magic to it. So now it is magical. Well, looky here what cardboard and craft foam and some paper towel, paper mache will do. I think his staff and his shield are my favorite things. So here he is out in the wild. Now, I have a question for you. Remember, this was a challenge. Does he look like a dwarf warrior wizard inspired by Lord of the Rings? Did I nail the challenge? Please let me know. I think I did, but to a point. I know one thing that I did do, though. I had fun. I really enjoyed creating this guy. We got to come up with a name. If you have any name suggestions, please drop them down below. For anyone who's just joining us and wants to see where he began, I will add one of his previous videos at the end. I will also add how to wet felt a hat at the end. So all you have to do is click on it and watch it.